Welcome everybody to the first ever NAPEO Gives Back. We're in the amazing studios of Altruis right here in the Altruis building. And my guests are the CEO of Altruis, Baron Gus. And to the right of me, I've got Dylan Jones, who is the founder of Anthropos Arts. And I'm Chris Miller, your host from Emeritus Retirement. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. Before we get started though, Baron, I want to turn to you. Dylan and I came, you said, let's do this podcast in Honolulu, Hawaii. And I'm from Florida. Dylan, you're from Austin, Texas. And so we jumped at the chance. We've never been here before to Honolulu, Hawaii.
Yeah.
And you were the first person to say, listen, guys, not only do this at our studio, but let me pick you guys up. And we did a tour on Saturday, and we had fried donuts from Leonard's. What are they called?
They're called malasadas. It's Portuguese sweetbreads. It's a Hawaiian, delicacy. I think if you go on YouTube, you'll see everybody's talking about, let's go stand in line and get some of these donuts. And so each of them ate 4 of them.
4. I did well.
Yeah, you did pretty good.
Yeah. Hopefully the camera can thin me down a little bit.
Yeah,
but
right.
yes, I ate all three of them. And then but more importantly, you took us on a tour of this beautiful island.
Sure.
You gave us some awesome history about the island itself. And one of the things that really hit me, we were talking about exporting, right? So I'm from Florida. We export a lot of oranges, right? I don't know what Austin, we could imagine cattle and beef and stuff of that nature. But you said something. What does Hawaii export the most of?
So what I always say is we export smiles. And one of the things we encapsulate the whole thing in is what we call aloha. And aloha can mean many things. It can mean welcome. It can mean love. It could be hello. It can mean goodbye. But it's more than just a word. It's really a feeling. We all understand it's our kuleana, our responsibility to share aloha with our guests.
You mentioned that you've been here for 56 years, and tell us a little bit about you're the CEO of Altruis. Tell us briefly, about Altruis, your company.
Sure. Well, Altruis got its start in 1969. I'm the second generation owner of our company. Started by my father, William Gus. He came to Hawaii from New York, and it was just a little bit of a family story. My mom was quite ill at the time, and she wanted to spend the last years of her life in a warm climate. And my dad, being the chivalrous guy that he was, he said, Helen, let's just pack up the kids and move to Hawaii. So he started a temporary help company. I joined him 10 years later, and it was me, my dad, and a bookkeeper. And today we have over 340 employees internationally as well.
Wow.
And we're just a small fish in a small pond.
I would say a small fish, but you guys have done an amazing job, and you got quite a brand. I mean, absolutely. Everyone in the PO industry, NAPEO, et cetera, knows your brand. But more importantly, the real boss, your wife and your family. Tell us about
Sure.
that.
Well, I've been with my wife, Dee Dee, for 44 years. I have 3 adult children and 2.5 grandchildren. So we're well on the way to keeping that family brand going. And, of course, lots of dogs. My wife's on the board of the Humane Society, so there's never a dog that we didn't like.
Let's talk about that. Let's expand on that because that's based on the topic that we're here for today about giving back, community service. Talk to me about your Altruis's and yours and maybe your family's giving back to the community in Hawaii.
Sure. If it wasn't for the community, we wouldn't have our livelihood, we wouldn't have our businesses, we wouldn't have our purpose. And so we've understood that for a very, very long time. We have gotten to the point as an organization that we have more than we possibly could ever hope for. So as a result, we have a foundation here at Altruis Foundation, and every foundation should find a platform or cornerstone. Ours is leadership. We believe that we should be developing tomorrow's leaders today. But it's also existing programs and supporting other non-for-profits in their mission. We try to keep somewhat narrow, But we also understand a bigger thing, and the bigger thing is what we extended into NAPEO Gives Back, which is the power of many. So bringing people together, galvanizing this concept of giving back. I really sincerely believe that being charitable, being philanthropic is a learned behavior. Getting the PEO industry to understand that they need to do more than self-advocacy. I think if you look at any trade organization, they become very self-serving. You know, how can we go to the Capitol? How can we have a voice for our industry? And what I've kind of learned is if you have a voice for others, the rest of it will come. What's really kind of interesting about our industry, we talk about how many people are connected through the PEOs. And at that time, it was over 4 million souls were attached to a PEO. They received their paychecks. I think today that number is closer to about 5.5 million. What if you could get all 5.5 million of those people to do something? And let's just call it $1. That would be $5.5 million that might shape the world or tilt it in some way. What if when we come to the city, we could take the power of the PEOs attending and do something, raise money, find a not-for-profit. In the case when we started this, now Dylan, what year was that?
2019.
2019, thank you, Dylan. What if in 2019 we could make a transformational gift to a local nonprofit and leave the town better off than we found it?
You know, with that, you talked about, you know, Anthropos Arts in 2019. You know, this year they were the recipient for us for NAPEO Gives Back that we're supporting this year. Of all the local charities, that's the question I have in Austin, Texas. Why was Anthropos Arts selected again? What was the tip the scale in their favor? Because we did look at a lot of, the committee looked at a lot of good local charities.
Yeah, as we continue to do each year when we go to a host city. It just harmonized so well. At-risk youth, you know, if you can change their lives, that's where we go. The fact that he has arranged for a group of musicians to come in and mentor these kids through music, but also through life skills.
Yeah.
It made so much sense, but the amount that we could donate, we could see would make a difference for more programming, better outreach to the kids. And so we chose them. You know, you also have to find something that our members can get behind. Mm-hmm. And truthfully, how can our membership not get behind kids?
NAPEO Gives Back have donated over $1,051,414,000 to great charities over the past 5 years. And I'm just going to read this list real quick and would like you to comment. In 2019, Anthropos Arts, $52,405. You were the first inaugural recipient of NAPEO Gives Back, his vision. 2020, Our Daily Bed Fruit Pantry, $79,470. 2021, Soldiers Angels, $138,953. 2022 was Coachella Valley Rescue, $193,636. 2023, Give Kids the World, $317. And 2024, that was a repeat, Give the Kids the World, $269,000 for a total $1,051,414. Absolutely amazing.
When we started NAPEO Gives Back, who would have thought that we would raise over $1 million in such a short period of time? And that just speaks to the generosity, the focus of our membership. If we can galvanize everybody together, they're micro donations. And we're very happy with a $10 donation, a $25 donation. We do have banner sales for $2,500 donations, and there's some very generous PEOs that will donate $25,000 year over year, because not only is this program about helping the charities, but it's also about putting the PEO industry in front of the public at large to let them know we do care. We do give back to our communities as an organization first. When I found out that Dylan was the founder of Anthropos Arts, he took his love for music, he understood there was a need, and no one told him he couldn't do it. I'm sure somebody told you couldn't do it.
Oh yeah, there was a handful, yeah.
And you showed him wrong.
You're like,
We just had to just keep doing it.
Yeah, and you know, that's that entrepreneurial spirit which is the PEO industry, to be honest with you.
Dylan, tell us about yourself. Describe how you founded Anthropos Arts.
Well, yeah, I'm born and raised in Texas, and I've been playing music professionally for about 35 years. I was very blessed to have really great musical mentors when I grew up. I didn't do music in school, but I started taking, when I was 15 years old, I started taking guitar and bass lessons. I had a mentor named Tommy Hyatt that was a fantastic teacher that influenced me in the sense of his strategy was, first lesson, you tell me what song you want to learn. You bring it in, we're going to learn it. And that just had me automatically learning everything, because I was like, oh, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? And I was amazed that this guy could just break it down. Oh, here's the song right here in the middle of the lesson. And that wound up informing a lot of how I teach with Anthropos and the repertoire we use. I had another mentor named Dwayne Hegger, who was the funkiest, most badass bass player you've ever seen. And my first teacher sent me to him. I was studying bass. I was about 15 or 16. And that was the most influential person in my life at that point. I was a very angsty, suicidal teen, struggling with mental health and just, coming of age. And I started playing right about that time. And my mentor was not only just very inspiring, but he wound up being a life coach for me, and I would come in and maybe complain about some crazy stuff or weird stuff. And, he was always like, well, good advice, but like, here, let's get to this next thing, He appreciated me because I would go home and study it. It was a great thing for me. It was that thing I needed in school at that formative time of my life to be able to close the door and say, I'm going to go in my room, I'm going to play the bass, and y'all can do this. And I geeked out, and I got into it, and I got good fast enough to start playing professional by the time I was 16. Starting Anthropos Arts was really just me being in the Austin music scene in the 90s, coming up and just being blown away by the talent around me, and just saying, wow, this is such a, incredible, the best players in the world are coming here and playing and jamming and working together, and I was learning so much great music. So seeing that level of talent, I was also doing volunteer work and performing at a series of like juvenile detention centers and working with these teenage kids. And when we would go in there and play music, what really surprised us was that these kids had no idea what our instruments even were. They were 15 years old or 14 years old, and they're like, look at my bass and be like, what is that? I'm like, you really haven't seen a bass before? You live in Austin, Texas. Like, you from here, generations. Mm-hmm. Y'all should know this is supposed to be this live music capital, and there's free music that, people can come to see. And when I just started to notice that disconnect, that's what sent me into the schools to talk to kids who already had access to, the Title I schools, we call them. That means the majority of them from low-income families. We have about 65% of all of our students in Austin are coming from low-income families at this point. We go to the schools that are the most extreme, the neighborhoods that are most impoverished, and the schools that are mostly like 99% of the students are on free reduced lunch. So I just started going to the schools and talking to students in band, and no students in these Title I schools were taking any kind of lessons. They would sign up in bands, but I would get to bands and there'd be kids who were in 12th grade playing at a 7th grade level. And they've been in bands since 7th grade. I'm like, why aren't you improving? Why aren't you doing better? The band, some of these schools too, band's the first thing cut, right? The arts are the first thing cut when they're always having, trouble and drama. So once I did some surveys, I just realized nobody has any individual mentorship. This one-on-one mentorship for me was my entire music education. I didn't even do the classes initially. I was learning on my own and learning from an individual. This is in a greater scope, it's oral tradition, right? With a lot of music is presented as oral tradition. And even, as you speak to the payroll thing, being able to be face-to-face with somebody is still better in so many ways than a phone call, and a step better than an email, and a step better than that when you're trying to get stuff done. Maybe not always necessary for everything, right? But it's very important. That one-on-one mentorship, every musician will tell you, every professional will tell you, oh, it was this person that I heard play, or maybe it was my dad or my uncle.
So you go out to the schools, right?
Yeah.
The child, what age are we talking about?
So at Anthropos, we focus on middle school and high school kids.
Middle school and high
so
school.
That's roughly age, 11, 12 through 18. Our mentorship goes way beyond. I've got kids that are in their 30s that still work with the organization. And that's one of the really cool things that we've been able to do is, because this is our 28th year at Anthropos Arts. Started this in 1998, so this is our 28th season. And I've really invested a lot in the last few years in bringing alumni into the fold to come back and honoring distinguished alumni. Because we have alumni now that are doctors, lawyers, engineers, professional musicians, they're all over the place. The kids that grow up, they all start at the same point, growing up in poverty.
Okay.
And our kids, 100% of our kids graduate from high school. We've made sure that every year. They break the statistics. 90% of those kids get four-year university scholarship offers. 90% of them go to college on scholarship. And these are kids that will wind up making more money than their parents within the first generation. And I think that's very crucial. It's something we talk about a lot, and I talk with the kids a lot about. Mm-hmm. When I'm pushing them to be, as you know, Baron, like not everybody has to have the college degree that leads to the career that does to the thing. I don't have a music degree, but I could because we've done it. The Greyhound bus, School of the Greyhound bus is what the musicians used to call it. That was my University of Greyhound, because you'd get on, you'd go tour city to city, you're playing, right? You're doing it, and the real world concept of it is very important to us. But these students, are, by generation, they're coming back to me now and saying, this is how this helped my life. This is how Anthropos changed my life. And that is the impact, that's the data that makes the whole thing drive for me. What do our constituents say about their experience and how it affected their life 15 years later now? We're able to hear that. And it's amazing.
Baron, what's our goal for this year? What is NAPEO Gives Back? What's our goal? Where are we trying to collect for Anthropos Arts? Hit us with.
Well, I think a good number is $300,000. I'm sure we can do that this year. We're already at about $125,000, and I know we're just kind of getting going. So I've got a few more phone calls to make, a little bit of arm twisting. But I'm really excited to, see what you're going to do with this money for the next chapter.
Yeah. And follow up to what Baron just said, what are you using the money for? What's it going to be earmarked for?
Well, we want to expand our services, of course, but we're also going to earmark some money to, strengthen our infrastructure, build for sustainability that can last beyond me. In my lifetime, I'll definitely be doing this through the end of my life. They won't be able to stop me from playing and teaching music and working with these kids. They're so awesome. So this is going to help us to, we're talking we're a $250,000 a year annual budget for our organization, and this is going to give us the kind of capital that we need to advance the organization. We're looking into buying our building also that we're in. We've been working on that with the city for a little bit. So our building is in one of the highest crime areas, which is of Austin, which is where a large percentage of our students live. So we're looking at investing in being, as part of this, being part of that community and solving that issue and making that a safer space as a community center for kids all around. But this is going to be something that impacts our organization for many, many years to come. The first time NAPEO gave to us, it helped us get all the way through the pandemic after a loss of 90% of our annual funding disappeared and dried up, and through some relief funding. And NAPEO, we were the only organization teaching kids through that summer and through that year of COVID. The school systems didn't even have anything going for the kids, so they're like, just making music and recording at home and producing. We produce tracks from home during COVID. So this is something though that's going to be more exponentially impactful to help us reach kids for years and years to come, and keep expanding it out, because we have a lot of kids in need, families in our community for sure.
Fantastic, and I will actually donate an extra $1,000 if Baron Gus can play drums live in Austin.
Oh, how about you just donate it? We have much better
regardless,
drummers than me.
but a little sweetener if he can play drums. If I can see that.
The last time I played the drums, drum roll for him.
Baron, what's your message to your fellow PEOs and your partners, associate members, as why they should get behind this initiative?
Number one, it matters. The guiding principles of NAPEO Gives Back is the power of many. And we as an industry, we are extremely powerful, much beyond the paycheck, much beyond the employee benefits we deliver. It's the fact that together we can make a difference. change the world, and leave the world a better place because we were there, in this case, Austin. So we're well on our way, and let's make a difference in Austin for Anthropos Arts.
Dylan, same
sir.
question to you.
Okay.
15, 30 seconds. Why should we all get behind Anthropos Arts?
Well, I want to give a huge thanks to the NAPEO organization. You guys have set up a program that is incredible in moving from being able to raise 5 figures for Anthropos in 2019 to these large 6-figure transformational donations in these cities. Y'all are doing something very special, and we're very grateful for the work that you've done in Austin and these other cities.
So the question is, how can you donate and what do we do from here? Number one, the annual marketplace is from October 5th to October 8th in Austin, where we're going to see Anthropos Arts. The NAPEO Gives Back booth is actually located next to the NAPEO registration. So when you register, you'll see us all there. There's t-shirts. There's going to be all information about NAPEO Gives Back. We're going to talk about the silent auction. We also, in this month's September issue of PEO magazine, there's a big ad that we're doing on page 45 that talks about Anthropos Arts, how you can get involved, how you can donate. You'll see my not the greatest picture, but you'll see a picture of me on there.
High school picture?
Okay, I love Baron, but it's not high school. It's not that too far removed. And also, there will be a link on this post that you can click and donate to Anthropos Arts. And there will be emails about what's coming in the next week or so as it relates to, we've got a lot of cool silent auction items that I can't wait to show you guys. Emily and the group has been working so hard on it. You guys are going to absolutely love it. So look out for that. And I also just want to thank once again, Baron Gus, Altrius, for putting us up, bringing us to Honolulu, Hawaii. And you, Dylan, for coming with your beautiful wife, Carol, coming down to Honolulu, Hawaii. We had such an amazing time. And this is the first ever Coffee Talk podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And Baron, I'm just going to ask right away, a year in advance, can we come back?
You can come back, and from that, what I think we all have to say is aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha and
Mahalo.
Mahalo.
mahalo, everyone. Thank you for watching. See you next time.